Hi, and welcome to the February edition of Healing Highway. I'm Christopher, and I'm really glad you're here. But before we head down the road today, I wanted to start by sharing some very exciting news. After last month's episode, I received an email from a woman who took part in the Healing Highway Challenge. Now, you might remember it was an invitation for you to simply pick up 2 cans of food and quietly give them away. She told me she took it a step further. Not only did she do that, she found herself 2 cans of ready-to-eat soups. You know, the ones with the easy open tops. Wanted to make sure she picked the ones that had plenty of protein. She found 2 plastic spoons from the deli section of the supermarket she was in, placed them in a bag, and put that in her car. About a week and a half later, she noticed a couple standing on the street corner holding a cardboard sign that simply said "hungry." She pulled over, handed them the food. No speech, no explanation, simply a "God bless you" and a whole lot of kindness. She said their gratitude surprised her, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it was real. She wrote me and she said that their smile stayed with her all the way home, and that the warmth she felt in her chest was something she hadn't experienced in a very long time. Then she said something that warmed my heart even more. She said, "I'm going to do this every month." Imagine that for just a moment. Imagine if more of us did something just like that, quietly, consistently, without needing any credit. That's the kind of healing this road is all about. Healing Highway exists because most of us are tired in ways, we just don't talk about. Not the kind of tired that a nap will fix. It's the kind that settles deep into your shoulders. It tightens your chest and hums quietly in the background while you're trying to live your life. Now, I'm a chaplain and a storyteller, and I didn't come to this work because I had an answer. I came to it because, I needed space. I needed space to breathe, space to listen, and space to remember who I was underneath all of the noise. Route 66 became that space for me. Not because it's famous, but because it refuses to rush. It doesn't care who you are, what you do for a living, or how far ahead you thought you'd be at this point in your life. It just keeps going, mile after mile. And it invites you to slow down and notice what's actually happening inside of you. That's the spirit of Healing Highway. One story at a time. No fixing, no pretending, just honest moments that remind us we're not alone on this road. As I mentioned, I wrote 7 stories for my own self-help. This is the second story I wrote. It's entitled, "Your Anxiety Isn't Welcome Here." So you know that feeling when you open your eyes and your chest is already tight? Like the day started hours before you showed up and it's sprinting up ahead without you? That quiet kind of panic that never shouts but never shuts up either. It rolls that highlight reel of bills you forgot, calls you dodged, promises you made to become a better version of yourself by now. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. It thrives in places built for speed. Fluorescent lights, pinging apps, those 5-lane freeways where eye contact feels like confrontation. But out here on Route 66, that noise fizzles real fast. I didn't know it the first time I nosed my truck onto the cracked alignment at all. I'd been rolling west for a few hours, still carrying the city on my shoulders, but somewhere between the last cattle guard and the faded motel sign, I felt something give. It was a long, slow exhale I'd been holding on since 2 jobs ago. The road didn't care about resumes or unread emails. It just stretched ahead and muttered, "You good? Let's ride." So I stopped in Shamrock, Texas on a whim. The old Conoco station caught my eye. Sure, a tourist trap, but fun nonetheless. Bright green neon trim, red pumps, paint curling back in the panhandle sun. I had no itinerary, no agenda. I just got out. And that part of me that's always 5 steps ahead finally sat down and, well, let me sit and catch up with it. I wasn't rushing anymore. I wasn't late. I was just present. That's the therapy of this old road. It doesn't hand you 5 steps to inner peace. It just gets quiet. Quieter than you're used to, and little by little, so do you. My phone had gone silent. My shoulders migrated back to their rightful zip code. I caught myself humming along to the radio fuzz and felt victorious. Now, near Tucumcari, New Mexico, the land explodes into widescreen. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the sky is big enough to swallow every worry you have whole. Now, one night I rolled into a chip paint motel. It had a real key, a leather fob, no swiping a card. Sat out front with a foam cup of coffee, and I watched a sunset. I watched purple spill into bronze across the horizon. I didn't check my email. I didn't plan anything for tomorrow. I just let the desert breathe for me. That moment, simple, still, unoptimized, it beat a month of productive days back home. Here's the truth. Anxiety is not your identity. It's just a flare. It's a blinking dash light. And on this cracked ribbon of asphalt that refuses to rush, you finally have space to hear what it's been trying to say. Slow down. Something's off. You see, Route 66 won't fix you, but it will hand you some time and some silence. You know, maybe a half-greasy burger that tastes like grace at a counter where nobody cares about you, that can be enough. So, if your chest feels tight before your feet hit the floor, I want you to spin the compass, west or east, it doesn't matter. Just aim for the pavement that's older than your problems. Don't overplan it, just drive. Let the wind, the static, and the half-lit neon do their slow magic. And when the anxious voice creeps back into your life, and I promise you it will, you'll know how to answer. I'm okay, I'm here, and that's enough. So after a story like that, it's worth asking, what can we carry us back into our everyday lives? Not as slogans, not as solutions, just as companions for the road. Here are 3 simple takeaways. First, anxiety is information, not identity. It's not who you are. It's something you're experiencing, like a warning light on the dashboard. It's trying to tell you something matters. When you stop fighting it and start listening, we often discover what's been asking to be cared for all along. Second, speed amplifies anxiety. Now remember, slowness gives it somewhere to rest. We live in a world that rewards urgency, but our bodies are the one that pays the price. Slowing down doesn't mean quitting your life. It can be as simple as stepping outside, sitting still, or choosing one moment a day to stop multitasking. Small pauses can bring you big relief. And third, presence is an act of courage. Saying I'm here doesn't mean everything is fine. It means you're grounded enough to meet the moment as it is. The kind of presence builds stability, and stability is often the first step towards healing. So in each episode of Healing Highway, I include the Healing Highway Challenge. Nothing dramatic, just something real. This month's challenge is this. Choose one moment every day to slow your body on purpose. I want you to sit instead of scroll. Step outside without your phone. Drink a cup of coffee or tea without multitasking. No productivity goal, no self-improvement plan. Just notice what happens when you let yourself arrive where you already are. The Chaplain's Corner. This is a quiet word for your soul. So, hey soul, listen up. Anxiety doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human in a world that asks way too much, too fast, too often. Most people I've walked with don't need more advice. They just need permission. Permission to rest, permission to feel, permission to admit that something inside of them is tired or just simply afraid. Grace doesn't rush in to silence anxiety. It comes in and sits beside it, and it listens. It reminds you you don't have to outrun your own nervous system to be worthy of care. Remember, you don't need a fearless version of yourself to move forward. You need an honest one. One that knows when to pause, when to breathe, and when to ask for help. I think I've learned that sometimes healing isn't about finding answers. It's about creating enough quiet to hear yourself again. Hey, as Route 66 celebrates its 100th anniversary, its centennial in 26, each episode pauses at a place along the road, and this month, it just goes back a couple of paragraphs of the book when I said I stopped in Shamrock, Texas. It's home of that old Conoco station with the green neon trim and the red pumps. That's a place that feels like it belongs to a slower era, one that didn't require explanations or any credentials. So if you're out on the Mother Road during the centennial and you're passing through, pause for a moment. Sit there for a moment. Let the road remind you that you don't have to hurry to matter. If you've got a question, a story, or something you'd like me to explore in a future episode, you can reach me through the website, or you can email me directly. Let's talk at healinghighwaypodcast.com. That's let's talk at healinghighwaypodcast.com. I promise to read every message. If this episode meant something to you, I hope you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss the next one. Healing Highway drops the first Sunday of every month. It's also where you'll find the Faith and Good Courage series and my weekly series, Roadside Notes, with actual roadside trips filmed on Route 66 in California, Arizona, and New Mexico. And of course, if you know someone carrying a little bit more anxiety than they let on or they should, invite them along. Remember, this road is better traveled when we're together. Again, thank you for spending this time with me. You're not alone out here. Always try to remember that grace meets you where you are, and the road has a way of guiding us home. Travel well, my friends. Have faith and good courage.